quarantine yourself from television. With all the fear and paranoia that's been coming across from the news media that, you know, millions are going to die from this coronavirus, and actually now it's just, you know, a couple 100,000 or whatever else. That's called fear mongering. And of course they'll say, well, we took measures and whatever. You know, we stopped it because we took, you know, active measures to stop it and quarantine healthy people and all this stuff. No, you took measures to destroy the economy. That's what this whole thing is about. And but here's the real thing to think about. Would they have been successful if everybody would have just simply said, no thank you, not going to watch your propaganda through media, be it internet or television, listening to the radio, reading the newspaper, whatever. Just quarantine yourself from that stuff. What would have happened? You say, well, it would have just spread far and wide and people would have died in the millions. No, they wouldn't have. Why? Well, study the actual science behind this coronavirus and you'll see it's a little bit more contagious than the flu, but it's basically the same symptoms as the flu, the common flu, which, by the way, more people have died of the flu, the common flu worldwide, than have died of coronavirus. You know, so think about that. I mean, look into the science behind this whole coronavirus thing. It's a total scam. The coronavirus was patented in November of 2018 by the Pirbright Institute in the UK with a US patent. Figure that one out. But, you know, diseases, how do you patent a disease unless it's created? Think about it. But you can look it up. Look up the, you know, Google the patent number or whatever else. We have it in other videos. But what would have happened if people would have just rejected television? I'll tell you what would have happened. Life would have gone on. People would have just simply gone on about their day. I'm feeling a little bit sick here. I'm feeling a little funny or whatever, kind of flu-like symptoms, you know, and they get better. Again, 80+% of the people who got coronavirus had it, got better, and they're back to work. They're back to life. You know, 80 to 90% of the people that get it get better. People that die from it are elderly people that have pre-existing health conditions, just like the regular flu. So people should just quarantine TV and media, because you see, television, media in general, be it newspaper, television, radio, internet type of stuff, whatever, one of their favorite tactics is to use fear to control people, to spread propaganda and paranoia among the people. I mean, some of the stuff that they had people doing to protect themselves from this coronavirus thing were just idiocy. They're not even backed up by science. And more scientists are coming out now, medical doctors and things, and they're saying, what was this? This is ridiculous. This isn't even proper protocols for quarantining. You quarantine the sick and the people that are predisposed to get sick, not healthy people. You don't shut down healthy people and destroy the economy to protect them from getting sick. You know, the whole thing was a scam, complete scam. And who's responsible? Media. The media is responsible for people losing their jobs, losing their homes, not being able to put food on the table. That's who's responsible for this whole thing. But if you're lost, if you're not a saved person, a Christian, born-again Christian, well, you don't really have a whole lot of help in this issue, because, you know, you don't know the Lord. The Lord's the Spirit of truth. So you're going to be deceived a lot easier. But I want to talk in this study to those people who are professing Christians, who mess around with television. Okay? What does the Bible say about television? All right, I've kicked it throughout the years, but here's a special dedicated study just for you out there if you're watching television or messing around with the media. 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. I saw this whole coronavirus thing and I thought to myself, okay, the coronavirus that's in China and whatever else last year, late 2019, and it could come to America. And I thought, okay, well, you know, whatever. What are the symptoms of it? Well, it's kind of like the flu and whatever else, a little bit more contagious. And all of a sudden, everything just went nutty. And you start looking and you think, wait a second, this doesn't make any sense. You know, stand 6 feet away from people. Okay, but they're touching the things that I have to go over and touch. You know, they're over there touching the tomatoes, and I got to go over and touch those same tomatoes. They're standing there at the cash register or the checkout or whatever else, so I got to stand right there at the same spot. They're touching the door handle going out, I'm touching the door handle going out. They're touching the shopping carts, they're touching the this and the that, you know. And then they put these masks on, you know. Everybody walking around with a little piece of cotton on their face, and I'm thinking, okay, this is really stupid. You know, my father's a EMT for 25 years, you know, plenty of experiences with people with sickness and all kinds of stuff. And he said, when you wear a mask on your face like that, the breath and the heat from your body, it gets that thing really hot and moist. You know, warm, wet areas there that are created by that thing are breeding grounds for viruses and bacteria. And I've seen some studies where they're actually saying that you wear that mask, you're actually increasing the risk of coronavirus and other types of viruses breeding on that mask. Because they're wearing it all day at work. Okay? It's just, you think to yourself, this is stupid. And a virus, don't tell me, you know, you see these people and they got this mask on, and they lean down like this at the store, and there's these big, you know, spots here on either side of their nose where they're leaning down. The mask isn't even covering completely. And I know out in California, you know, California, I'm going to say Californication, which is a good way to say it, but out there, they were required to wear these masks. Idiocy. You say, what is it? God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. You're doing these things, you're not of a sound mind. You're being controlled through fear, and God didn't give you that spirit of fear. You're out of fellowship with the Lord. Let me just be very blunt with you. If you're afraid of this whole coronavirus and all this other stuff, you're out of fellowship with the Lord. Plain and simple. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5. I'll give you the scriptures that condemn television viewing for a Christian. And if you disobey these scriptures, if you disobey this stuff, then it's on you. 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22, abstain from all appearance of evil. Well, hey, I can watch television because, you know, I'm watching some evil stuff there, but I'm not doing it, I'm just watching it. Okay, it's the appearance of evil. See, the Bible doesn't say abstain from all evil. It's an appearance of evil. Even the appearance, being entertained, in other words, by evil things. You might not be a witch, but if you're watching witchcraft on television, you're not abstaining from the appearance of evil. And you look into who's sponsoring the television, it's alcohol, it's big pharma, it's a lot of very, very wicked things are sponsoring those programs, being programmed, you know, they're sponsoring those programs, and you're partaking in it. You are watching it. Are you abstaining from all appearance of evil? No, you're not. And don't tell me that there's no filthy stuff that gets put onto the television and you watch it. I remember the one time being near a relative, and he had the news on, and walking by, and they showed two sodomites kissing. And I said, oh man, I said, well, thank you for defiling my mind with that filthy television. Disgusting. Oh yeah, you know, there is that there, but you know, I just kind of, you know, it's bad. Are you abstaining from all appearance of evil? No. Then you're sinning. You're a sinner. And it disgusts me when I see people, I'm a Bible believer, King James Bible believer. Hey, did you see the news the other night? I think, are you kidding me? I mean, it wasn't long, you know, after I got saved. I mean, I don't even, you know, even before I got saved, I was already starting to get under conviction, you know, trying to find the Lord and find what truth is and whatever else. And I'm watching a lot of the big TV shows back there in the 1990s, late 1990s, you know, early 2000s. And, you know, and I'm watching, and I just started realizing they're making fun of Jesus Christ all the time. They're saying things, they're profanity, and they're saying sexual stuff and whatever else. It's disgusting. Why would I keep watching this stuff? And boy, when I got saved, it was just, I mean, I went from being television, movie viewer to just off. And yet I hear people who profess to be Bible-believing Christians to this very day, and they talk about watching the news. They're lying to you. Don't you know that? Haven't you figured that out yet? They're lying. But that's okay because you're in fellowship with the Lord. You're a good, strong Christian watching TV. No, you're wicked is what you are. Again, if there was no television, if there was no media, this whole coronavirus thing would have never been blown out of proportion. All the fear-mongering and all this other false science that's come out of this thing. Crazy. Psalm 101. I don't care what you do if you're lost. If you're not a Christian, well, you're going to hell anyway, so what you do really doesn't matter. But if you're a Christian, don't come around and try to say that you're saved and that you're born again and that you're right with God and whatever else. And but I do watch some TV. You're not right with God if you're even saved. You are not right with God if you're watching television. I mean, years and years and years ago, you could say, well, you can make an argument. Well, even back then it was wicked. But today, there is no argument at all about television being just wicked and evil. Psalm 101, verse 3. I will set no wicked thing before mine eyes. I hate the work of them that turn aside. It shall not cleave to me. What are you going to do with that? What's in the Old Testament? Lines up perfectly with 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 22. Lines up perfectly. Well, I have to disagree with you. Oh, so you want to set wicked things before your eyes? Do you want those things to cleave to you? Cleave to me. It shall not cleave to me. What does it mean? You're putting images in your mind, pictures in your mind. A lot of you've defiled your mind for so many years with television viewing. Your senses are shot. Shame on you for calling yourself a Christian. Revelation chapter 13. So what's the future? I'm going to give you a prophecy that will come to pass just as sure as you live and breathe. Revelation chapter 13, verse 1. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority. Very symbolic language there and everything else. A lot of people got into what are the crowns, what are the heads, what are the, whatever there. But here's the point. Okay, this is the Antichrist the Bible is describing here. Verse 3, the man that's going to be a fake Jesus Christ that shows up, which television is going to promote. And if you're a television head, you're going to fall down and worship him. Here's the proof. Verse 3, and I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. Well, how's that possible? All the world's going to wonder after the beast? How? He's going to be over there in the Middle East someplace, in Jerusalem and things, and the temple of God, showing himself that he is God, over there. Well, how's somebody in Alaska going to see him? How's somebody in Kiev, Ukraine going to see him? How's somebody down in Bogota going to see him, or somebody over in wherever, South Africa? Name the country. How are they going to see this guy sitting over there in Jerusalem? All the world's going to wonder after the beast? How's that possible? Verse 4, and they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? They're worshiping a man in Jerusalem, seeing the man over there. How's that possible without the media? You say, well, okay, brother, yeah, I know television is wrong. I don't watch it a whole lot, just the news. You mean the satanic propaganda from the Vatican? That stuff? I remember reading a story years ago about General Kun Sa over in Cambodia, I think it was. And a special ops guy, James Bo Greitz, went over and was looking for POWs and things. And he went to go over the one time, and he heard about this war. This drug war over there. We're fighting these drug dealers and, guys making heroin over there in the Golden Triangle and all this stuff. And he waited to go in. And finally, he just thought, I got to get in there. Bo Greitz was going in to see Kun Sa. And he went in and he said, there's no war. No war at all. And he's thinking, what in the world? And he gets to Bogarts' compound, and he gets to Kunsaw's compound, and he goes and shakes his hand and stuff, and he says, and this Kunsaw says, "What took you so long? Where were you? I thought we were going to have a meeting, a while back." He said, "Oh, sorry about that." He said, I heard about a war that was going on over here." And Kunsaw laughed, and he said, "Oh yeah," he said, "that was a media war. Fake, in other words. It wasn't a real war. But you got to watch this stuff. You got to watch the news media, the lies that come across the television. You got to watch it and so, what's the latest? Oh, I'm going to hear from the Dr. Fauci, the Jesuit, disgusting slimeball that he is, and I'm going to have him tell me how bad it's going to be, and I'm just going to sit there and bite my fingernails and oh. You are far away from the Lord right now if you're a television watcher. And anybody that's out there, by the way, that says, I'm a Christian, I'm going to teach you about the Bible, if they ever say that they're watching TV, get away from them. They're false. They're absolutely false. Watch out for these people. But you see, it's prophecy. The Antichrist couldn't rule the world without television. I remember hearing a guy the one time, a lawyer, and he was talking about the thing of propaganda. And I remember he said that Hitler could have succeeded back in his day, because they were early on, they were promoting Hitler. I think Time magazine even called him the Man of the Year the one time. But a lot of the people in the West were actually promoting Hitler. And the guy from the UK goes over, the chancellor or whatever, and he goes over and he meets with Hitler, and he comes back and, I think that Adolf Hitler is an honorable man, and the whole thing. You can watch the news clips from back then, the old news clips, excuse me. This guy saying that stuff. And, he goes, "Well, Hitler's an honorable man," and all this other stuff. And meanwhile, Hitler's invading Poland, and, he's giving me his promise that he's not interested in war. But the news media is a lie. They're lying to you. You say, "Well, I like to watch lies." Okay, that's your thing then. But don't call yourself a Christian, okay? Don't lead other people astray and tell them to watch the news media. The only reason to watch the news media is to make fun of it and expose it. And I wouldn't even do that with a television. I'm just saying to show the propaganda that they come out with. But if you're watching it to get truth out of it, you are in serious trouble. You really are. So I just want to challenge people with this whole thing. Shut your television off. You say, "Well, I need to know the latest and greatest and all this other stuff." Okay, well, check news agencies, things online or something, written articles or something like that, and read between the lines. You know where things are going if you're born again, and quite frankly, I think you're better off just not even caring what's going on, and just go out and, if you have a job that you can go to or whatever, go do it. Don't ask anybody. It's old saying in the military I know of where they say it's easier to ask forgiveness than it is to ask permission. Go to where you need to go. Get pulled over and just, you're ignorant. You honestly say, "I have no idea, sir. I don't watch television." Watch their reaction. I remember getting internet service the one time. She's trying to sell me this TV package, TV, internet, and phone package. And I said, "I don't watch television." Total silence. "Oh, well, I guess you must have a lot of free time on your hands then." People have no idea. But, just shut off the TV. Okay? It's very important. Study the Bible. Go outside. Get some fresh air. Take a walk. But for goodness sake, shut off the people that are lying to you. Abstain from all appearance of evil. Please remember that.